So greetings, my fellow Virginians. I thought I'd share my point of view and overall position regarding political extremism. As many of you guys are aware, um, Virginia and even the whole country is going through a lot of stabilization in terms of the political environment. It's not caused by any political party per se, it's caused by how people see politics, policy, and personalities. So I've started, paying attention to Virginia and U.S. politics all the way back when I was in high school. I just happened to, like and enjoy learning about politics and government when I was in high school. And so I just thought, why not keep paying attention to it? I had no intention um, in getting involved in politics, to be honest. I just wanted to be aware and lend a hand if I can, which I, basically have been doing throughout my life. I've volunteered in various causes, supported U.S. policy in terms of, our approach in public diplomacy overseas, and even supporting the federal government when I was in the federal government in capacity building and economic development throughout the state and throughout the country. So I don't want to overly, emphasize on the trajectory of politics per se. I just want to kind of reflect on what politics is and what politics isn't. Politics is not permanent. Policies are never permanent. Politicians seldom stay in office for a lengthy period of time, and unless they're having not unless there is no term limit, which is a very problematic situation when you don't have term limit in politics, then there's no fresh blood, no fresh thoughts and visions, no new opportunities to employ market relevant approach to capacity building when there is no change in policymakers and politicians in office. So, with that said, folks, going back to political extremism, it's extremely counterproductive. Um, it's not going to serve anyone uh, any form of benefit if you become so heavily vested in politics. Politics is an environment, an arena to be available to support the meeting of the minds. People that have different perspective and points of view are supposed to congregate and talk about certain ideas and visions and objectives. It's not supposed to destroy a society. It's not supposed to destroy a community. It's not supposed to destroy a country. But unfortunately, when people who are so adamant and overly vested in a certain issue within politics tend to use uh, an issue erroneously to the point that it kind of, destroyed the overall spirit of uh, the value that they support, regardless whatever political party you belong in. I just happen to be more on the conservative side, um, given that I truly support the traditional values that was created and was implemented and overly uh, provided a good structure and system within our society. But I'm not the type of person that will say, okay, this is all set in stone. We'll never, diversify, because we have to be, realistic. We now live in a new world marketplace, and what that is not the new world order. It's a new world market environment. So this is a part of the new world market environment. Smartphone. What I'm doing now, doing my video blog on my social media platform, YouTube channel, as a U.S. Senate candidate, is a part of the evolution of the new world marketplace. So let's kind of differentiate the different the situation regarding political extremism and political relativism. And relativism is what is now having to be incorporated into the marketplace, in which we have to look at certain points of view and see the best and most optimum value that is associated to a specific policy. Okay, market development obviously is extremely important. That's always going to be at the front and center in terms of economic development and capacity building of the marketplace. Um, just because we have to live, we have to find, jobs, and we have to support our families and be productive members of societies, all that. So that's always going to be a part of it. Now, political activism is not supposed to, overly create an environment where people are no longer interested in having a debate, where things are disjointed, where things are not really making a whole lot of sense, but they still support specific political opinion or policy. It's not supposed to divide. Politics is never created to divide. Even if you look at what took place back in the days during, the Greek era, the Roman era, uh, it wasn't supposed to divide, but people found a way to be divisive, and eventually most of those of civilization collapsed because of the ineffective and irrelevant and disjointed way that some of those politicians back then, in their early civilization, basically got out of the whole um, purpose of the meeting of the minds politics. It became more of a power grab, and when it became a power grab, then people turned to violence. They became disassociated and divorced from the benefits of the meeting of the mind, the benefits of politics. So my position is, as a conservative Republican candidate, is that we're going to create efficiency, we're going to create dialogue, we're going to create some sort of, sanity in Virginia politics. I don't know if you guys have been following Virginia politics for a lengthy period of time, but Virginia politics has become very toxic. Okay, folks. And I'm not saying this just because I'm a conservative Republican. I'm saying this in general. Uh, Virginia politics has become very toxic, and it's also become very toxic to many states in our country. Throughout, all states, majority of the states have created a very toxic political environment because of social media, because of access to information. It doesn't matter if it's real news or fake news, or fabricated news, or artificial intelligence developed news. So many people are now confused in today's reality. In the year 2026, there's more people confused about politics than understanding the purpose of politics. With this said, folks, so I didn't mean to, rattle on this particular subject, but my thoughts are I'm going to create an environment in Virginia in which we're going to reset our political environment in the state of Virginia. We're actually going to make politics work for the people. Okay, we're not going to support these multi-million-dollar special interests, unlike my opponent from the elite class of the state. We're going to try to stay away from having royalties, monarchies, monopolies in politics, because when you create monopolies, folks, that create a very nefarious, evil, dark environment, because they could easily abuse their power. Okay, when you have a dictatorship, tyrannical oligarchies, and you name it, communist elite population that are dictating how our people and population ought to live, then that's extremely dangerous and problematic and scary, to be honest. I've been to countries where they had communism, and the effects of communism basically silencing freedom of speech, dissent. They're, basically yielding or wielding their authority over people instead of being public servants, then the people basically become their servants. So that's what happened when you have a monopoly in politics and when you have a monarchy in power without having to deal with term limits. And that's the reality of whole situation. You don't want a king, you don't want a queen in politics. Okay. With that said, so going back to my thoughts with political extremism, people come and go in politics. Policy and certain missions and objectives tends to change in politics. The narrative often, evolve in politics as things become more relevant, and people would have to provide a solution. Okay, because at the end of the day, you have to provide a solution to be efficient and be operational within a marketplace to support your population. So that's the overall game plan that you should have and deploy. So with this said, please don't overly, subscribe or invest in policy and politics that isn't, efficient, that isn't really uniting the population. Okay, folks. And as a conservative, I believe many of the conservative values that believe in protecting our borders, and protecting civil rights, developing our economy to its fullest capacity, supporting our military, very conservative values that is still very relevant in today's marketplace. And I've seen the world. I've traveled the world. I've, helped build economies and support certain policies in capacity building and economic development worldwide. Okay, and I believe that what I bring to the table is so unique that many of my opponents simply will not be able to replicate what I'm trying to do. Okay, they can't create some sort of substitute in my compared to my capacity. So that's why I tossed my name in the hat. I'm not a career politician. Didn't really think I was going to be a politician, but given my background and overall experience, I thought I support our state and our country so that we would have an America that we would be proud of and love, for many, 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 many years, okay, to come. That said, thank you for watching, and please make sure to subscribe, share, and like our YouTube channel. Tell your family and friends about our campaign. Consider donating and volunteering to us. We're in dire need of volunteers and donations because we didn't start off as career politicians. We basically are starting from a very grassroots level. Okay. All right, folks. Thanks so much for watching. Looking forward to connecting with you again soon. Take care. Bye.